I make a quick video on, well, not a quick video, but a video on how to change your CV axles. What I did is I jacked up the right side, or the driver's side of the car. If you can see this here. Here's your jack point right there. You just put the jack there, jack it up, stick your stand on the side there, sorry about the wind. And there's a little lip down here. You just put the jack right there. The reason why I do this is that'll make this side of the car higher, so it won't lose as much fluid. At least that's the game plan out of my transmission when I pull it out. So as you can see, I already took the wheel off. Take the wheel off, you just take the lug nuts off, and then took this guy off here. Just took an old beat up screwdriver and knocked this out. This one was pretty worn up, and then take that off there. That's a 32 millimeter, and then kind of hit some of the bolts on the bottom with some WD-40. Let that soak a little bit. My game plan is I'm gonna probably take the calipers off next. You can't see it, but there's just some bolts on the back side. Just gonna take that off, drape this on here, and then pop the lower ball joint out most likely. And my lower ball joint looks pretty bad, so the sun's probably right in your eyes. Let me go to this side here. Should have turned the steering wheel a little bit. It's down here, so I'll take that bolt off, and also take this bottom bolt out of the wishbone off, and then that should give me access to get at the axle. This is one's kind of weird in that it's already loose. See that going there? And what I'm grabbing is this main guy right here. There. When you put these in, you want to make sure you put the side with the key to the out. I don't know if you can put it in backwards or not, but when you put your new one in, you just want to make sure that side's out. Anyways, so that's where I'm at on this. Alright, here's where I am. I turned the wheel as far as I could to the left, and there's the brake calipers, and they just had these bolts down here in the back of there, and you can see right here is where they went. Here. So I just unscrewed that, and the pads fell out of the brake, and you have to inspect these. This doesn't look, the brakes don't look too good, so this piece here is kind of popping out. So I'll get to that later. That's not what I was here to try to do. But what I'm going to do next is take the rotor off, and it's just got these two little screws. And I used to throw those things away because I didn't like them, but they do help when you're putting your rotor back on. They help keep it assembled, and when you're putting it back on, if you don't use those screws, it can be kind of a pain to keep things lined up while you're trying to put like your brakes on and stuff like that. So I just hit these with WD-40. Those can be a real pair, especially on like cords and stuff. But luckily they came through. You just use a Phillips screwdriver. Swing over here a little bit so you can see them. And so I'll let you. They're all nice and loose now, so I'm just going to take those off, and I'll pop the rotor off, and you can see the bottom nut down here a little bit better. I'm just going to take that off, and you can see that side there, that's the bolt there. There's a nut on the other side. I'm going to take that off, and then we'll just pull that the whole shaft out of there, the axle. Anyway, so I just want to show you where I'm at, and I'll show you when I get the rotor off. I just prop these. I like to use a bungee cord, but I don't have one on me. Maybe an old coat hanger or something. I really don't like laying them up there like that, but it works, because if it falls, you put a lot of stress on these rubber lines. And this is, you gotta remember, it was built in 1995, so some of the stuff's getting kind of old. Anyway, so that's right here. You can see, took my rotary off, put it there. Again, you just take those two little Phillips screwdrivers out, and they'll just come right off. Then so far what I did is I took out this bolt that went down here in the bottom, what I call the wishbone, and this is pointing towards the back, And so this is the nut side. You always want to, when you get a bolt in a nut, you always want to loosen from the nut side. So that's what I did. Is I didn't even have to really put a wrench or anything on this side. I just put my socket on the other side, worked it till it was loose, and then eventually it did start spinning this side. So I just took a little electric impact. At that point it was pretty loose, and just zipped it because I was too lazy to sit there and ratchet, and then the bolt comes off. So then what I do is I just thread the bolt back on and just tap it with my hammer, and just enough to get it sticking out, and then I just take the back of the claw part and I just stick it in there, and it almost gets it all the way out. And if you can see, the force of the, I don't know, the little control arm is wanting to push up. So if you're to try to make it easier to take out, you could like push down on this, and you should be able to slide this out as long as it's not all rusted up. So I pretty much took it out by hand. And there was a really beat up old cotter pin down here, and I already took that out. So I'm going to take that out. It looks like my my boots shot on that tie rod end. So I'm probably going to end up replacing that. So I'm getting pretty close to, that's what I'm taking off next, is the tie rod end. Alright, this turned into quite the job because the lower ball joint just would not come off. And it's all kind of tore up anyways. But anyways, so what I had to do is just like really wail on that really hard, and that finally popped it loose. Ended up taking off, this goes to the back here, to that tie rod right there. And then that's the lower ball joint, that just went right there. And then the upper ball joint went up there. Hopefully this one's good. Feels kind of funky, but I don't think I'm gonna mess around with it. So the thing that's got me worried, I'll show you a couple things I did, is just took this bolt off. I like to put my bolts back, so it's just hand tight in there so I can find them when I'm putting the car back. There's one in behind here, so I undid those, and this brake line went to that. That just allowed me to plop my caliper on the ground without any stress on it. Try not to lose your clips there. Also recommend you just do one side at a time. That way if you have to put something back together and you're not sure how it goes, you can just look on the other side. What's got me worried is that guy right there. I've seen those tore up, but I'm not sure how far back or how hard that is going to be swap out. It's got a, looks like that part was supposed to be hooked onto here, and maybe I get lucky and I don't know, I gotta look that up, see what that's all about. Hoping that I could just replace the boot on it, but that's probably wishful thinking, but we'll see. So anyways, that's where I'm at. Here's, I finally got the darn joint out. I was looking at it and I was going, oh, it doesn't look too bad, until it just fell out there. I don't know where the other end, oh, it's over there. There's the other end. I had to just get my pry bar and just pry that up and pop that part out. So this was all separated. So it's too bad the boots look pretty good on it. Anyway, but it's all kind of in pieces. So then I got another one. If you look back there, that's where it's gonna go, the new one. And so again, I just got to figure out what to do about that guy right there. Other than that, it's if it wasn't for this crazy thing, I'm ready to slap the new one in. Here, my bolts just in there loose. You can take that in and out. It's ready to assemble for the CV joint, but again, I gotta look that up, find out what the deal with that is, so hopefully that won't be too expensive. Anyways, that's where I'm at. At this point, if you're gonna do this, you just reassemble it and you'll be done.